What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chicago Bears franchise as we are going through the Season 4 preseason today. I live streamed all 4 games on the channel over 3 different live streams, so if you want to watch the long versions, they're on the channel. This was our chance, though, to see what rookie quarterback Clay Stites was all about. I also made the trade to acquire Kaysen Shore, which gave us a quarterback who would be very good at deep passing and a quarterback who is better at short throws. We acquired David Onyemata during the offseason, so I wanted to see what kind of an impact he would bring, and I also was giving a chance to players like Carlos Romero and Dante Rooks to earn starting jobs. Reggie Ragland is now the second middle linebacker behind Marquise Starling, and there was a lot of cornerback competition. Also, wide receiver Ed Acho. I knew he was going to be fun to see once these games got going, so let's jump into it here. We had Clay Stites, one of the better deep ball passers from this past draft, so of course we had to start with a pass deep down the middle for Harlan Regis, and he makes the catch. 44 yards as a first impression. With our improved offensive line, the arm of Clay Stites, and the receivers we have, I want the deep passing game to be a big part of our offense. Number 64, Lester Stallings, was starting at left guard, and early on he struggled in the Denver game. You see him missing an assignment in the running game and then getting beat in the passing game. His strength as a player is mainly in the running game, so I was hoping that would help make up for the pass protection. Defensively, here we have some pressure on Trevor Siemian, who gets this pass off, and it gets intercepted by Prince Amukamara, who's again going to be our starting cornerback opposite Curry Peters, as we didn't get very aggressive at cornerback this offseason. Back to the air with Clay Stites and the offense as we continue to bounce around these games, and I wanted to test his accuracy at all areas of the field. The first impression was very positive as he completed his first 4 throws. Here in the second quarter, now playing with some of the backups, here's the deep ball of Stites. It's bobbled and caught by Marquis Cole. Just an outstanding catch, even though he nearly missed it. This was a play where he didn't have much separation, but he had the concentration to make one of the most unique catches I've seen in Madden 18. That was quite impressive. And it just shows that Marquis Cole, when given the chance, he can make spectacular plays. That's not the first we've seen. The next throw from Stites is perfectly placed for Kendall Demmons. The touch on that throw to hit Demmons in stride, and then he scores the touchdown. The early concerns were quickly being wiped away by Clay Stites in this first game against Denver. 7 of 11 to this point as we hand it now to one of the undrafted rookies. This is the explosive Sean Price, who has outstanding height, weight, speed abilities. And Stites with time again, going across the middle, that time finding Cameron Crane. When he got time in the pocket, we got to see how special his arm was, but that didn't mean that he didn't miss some throws. When it comes to quarterbacks like Stites who are going to make mistakes, you just need their good plays to offset the bad. You see that with players like Jameis Winston or Cam Newton, who won't usually have the highest completion percentages, but they'll give you those big plays and they'll come through when it matters the most. So that's what we hope Clay Stites can become, that kind of a quarterback. So we end up going on later into the game. Corey Clement rips off a nice run against us. And then back to the offense, and Sean Price rumbling up the middle. Has pretty good strength to go with 94 speed, so I was really intrigued with getting him the football. And play after play, I continued to get more confident in the play of Clay Stites and him being QB1 of the Chicago Bears. Here's one of his best. On the move to the outside for Cameron Crane. He's not the most mobile, but he throws well outside the structure of the pocket, so that's just fine. There's a tight throw finding DJ Hackney, the rookie tight end who's trying to make the roster. Later in the game, we have it at the 17-yard line, and Stites misses another one. So from time to time, that's going to happen. But like I said, we had a lot of good throws from him in this game. We then got Kaysen Shore involved, and we throw the short throw here to Kendall Demmons as he tries to get a roll on this team. He was great as a returner a year ago and got a lot of experience to help out his receiver play. And defensively, we don't have a ton of defensive highlights in these preseason videos, but Dante Rooks is a player who creates some. So he gets 2 sacks in this game, then a deep shot downfield is picked off by Alex Bird, just reading the quarterback and being in the right place at the right time. It was a really fun first game of the preseason. We got to see many of the young players I was focused on stand out. Case and Shore, meanwhile, this goes off the hand of Hackney and gets intercepted by Williams, and they turn this into a really long return. We were close to another overtime game here in the preseason, just like last year, as Marcus Calhoun makes an outstanding play on third down to force a field goal. They do tie the game. And then Case and Shore, that's open and complete to DJ Hackney as we get into field goal range ourselves. 5 catches for Hackney. I wanted to see him keep making plays. Shore looking deep and through his hands this time in traffic. So we add 3 of our own. Denver gets it. Less than a minute to go. And Verlin Dre lets Aguilar get behind him. And there's no recovering. Touchdown, Denver. So Verlin Dre, who made a few plays down the stretch a year ago, he's just not going to be very good in press, and that's a theme on this team. We pretty much have to play off coverage, but we can be very good doing it. Now we take on the Tennessee Titans in the second game as Reggie Ragland makes this run stop as he takes over Danny Trevathan's old role and number. But Marcus Mariota downfield finding his target as we see Ragland get beat in coverage. I don't expect him to play a ton in the nickel. We'll have some other players there that can cover a bit better than him. There was a run for Jordan Howard as he didn't get a lot of work in this preseason and did suffer at least one injury at one point, but it wasn't serious. More Clay Stites in this game as we throw some short passes because these are some that can make or break a game if you need to just convert some easier third downs. But also he completes the pass down the middle to Ed Acho. This was so impressive to me, just how the tacklers are able to hold up. And then Acho, we've seen a little bit of him so far from like practice mode and in the preseason. He looks really impressive. There's a catch across the middle again for Ed Acho. We got serious size at receiver. Regis, Meredith, and Acho are all 6'2" or greater. And I think that we can really do a lot with this receiving core because they can play multiple spots. 3rd and 7 later for Clay Stites, and time does run out as sacks were a problem in this Tennessee game especially. Stites playing here in the second quarter late from the 21-yard line. He's met and goes down yet again. Jarrell Casey really enjoyed facing our interior line. 3rd and 5 later, and this time on target as Stites hooks up with Adam Shaheen, who has been very reliable at tight end for us, and Acho once again. In the slot, you're going to see a lot of Ed Acho, but also I had some speed here in the preseason with both Demmons and Jakeem Grant. Shaheen makes another catch as we continue this 2-minute drill looking really strong, and it gets kept off the right way. It's a touchdown for Harlan Regis. This play was interesting because it essentially created a natural pick with Adam Shaheen, which, you know, sometimes that play could be called for OPI. And then Regis gets wide open. That's easy pitch and catch. Let's go later into the second quarter, just before halftime. It's a give to Olsen, and he gets stuffed by Jalen Egbo. Now on to the second half, and with the offense, it's Case and Shore again, and no chance on this play as the blocking from CJ Ross was not very good. That just further cemented how I think Tariq Cohen is the better pass down back, whether he's blocking or getting the football. We get some pressure later on too, and that is Carl Lawson, who's trying to make the team and be one of our bench pass rushers. And that injury to their quarterback brought in Pat McChesney. We've come full circle. McChesney going back down. And he gets sacked by Matthew Judon, who had one of the better preseasons, I think, for our edge rushers. This time he gets around the tackle, closes in. How about special teams? We don't focus on that enough. Back deep, you get Kendall Demmons trying to show what his game is all about. And look at the lane. He breaks to the outside. Demmons around the punter. Goodbye. Kendall Demmons, a Pro Bowl kick returner a season ago. And he gets the 83-yard punt return touchdown here. Let's watch this one more time. The blocking was just spectacular. You don't always get that clean lane like that. So just a perfect setup for a long return. And we'll take it later into the third with Case and Shore trying to stretch the field and finding Kendall Demmons flying across the middle. So when it comes to our slot receiver spots, you can have Acho there, but also Kendall Demons in more of that speedy slot role. And keep in mind, I do want to get vertical with this pass offense, and having someone like Kendall Demons is going to be part of that. He replaces Paul Richardson. Later, it's a give to Corey Olsen. He gets hit by Bram Dirth, who I was hoping would break out more in this preseason after kind of a lackluster rookie year, in my opinion. In the fourth quarter, that's Kason Shore airmailing the pass downfield. Not as accurate as Clay Stites on those deep passes. 3rd and 12. How about Sylvester later for Tennessee? Finding Spillman. That's Sefa Spillman, who did really well against us, and he had a monster game. Kason Shore through the hands of DJ Hackney in the fourth quarter. A little inconsistency from him. And then a pass that's behind Marquis Cole. So Shore's accuracy was pretty lackluster and underwhelming, and not just on the deep passes. I thought overall it was worse than Clay Stites. Sylvester, meanwhile, was doing a great job for Tennessee as they get it to Corey Olsen, and he'll break into the end zone this time as Tennessee takes the lead. Keep in mind, this Tennessee team is our week 1 opponent, so maybe some players we're going to see when the game actually counts. Down by 7 late, and we just have no chance here. Kason Shore gets hit well outside the pocket. So it looked like this game was just about over. 2nd and 17, and Aaron Singletary makes the spectacular grab. That's how you hang on to your roster spot right there. From the 47-yard line, Kason Shore complete to Jakeem Grant, the ex-Dolphin. Alright, so we got something on this possession. Against the blitz, we beat it to Aaron Singletary. Another fantastic catch. We want 6. Grant in motion, here's Shore. Caught by Demons for 6. Touchdown, Chicago. Great possession and really unexpected. We of course go for 2 to avoid overtime in the preseason, but unfortunately the pass gets undercut and we end up losing to Tennessee. Oh well, on to game 3. This time against the Detroit Lions, because for some reason they have you play division rivals here in Madden 18 franchise. David Onyemata creates some pressure, and I'm looking forward to the overall impact he brings to this D-line. We get more pressure later as Stafford gets sacked by Bram Dirth. We need him to create a lot more havoc this year, not just clean up screens. Here's Clay Stites again to the air, finding Max Williams outside. Now, Stites started this game 2 of 8, but it wasn't just like a bunch of inaccurate throws. Although that one was his worst of the preseason. The worst overall throw I've seen from Clay Stites. Hopefully it is the worst we ever see. But overall in this game, Detroit just contested a lot of throws and we didn't succeed much early on. There's a hit by Adrian Amos, and I think he's become a superstar in this series. He's a playmaker no matter where the play is going. So after the forced fumble, here's Matt Stafford. He's going to look downfield, and Amukamara loses Golden Tate. They are getting aggressive to try and pick off the pass as Tate makes it 1st and goal. And a couple plays later, up the middle, Upshaw hit by Reggie Ragland. His run stopping really stood out. I'm confident in him and Marquise Starling filling in the running game. Stafford ends up getting rid of it here as we get more pressure created. So a nice finish there at least. Back to Clay Stites in the offense, and here's that deep ball again. On target, but through the hands of Cameron Meredith. We need those to be catches when we get to the regular season. A little bit more Jordan Howard here as we get some daylight on the counter. He crosses the 50-yard line. Howard didn't play a ton, though, in the preseason. Stites again, a quick throw down the field to Cameron Meredith as he makes a better catch this time around. 3rd and 18 later, and this throw was perfect for Harlan Regis. Even when the degree of difficulty was tough, Clay Stites made it look easy. 1st and goal, trying to find the end zone. Stites rolling around, still has plenty of time, and now throws it to the end zone where it's caught by Harlan Regis. Now they end up overturning this, but it was still kind of cool to see us make a play on something so broken, although just a little bit out of bounds. The next play, it gets intercepted, so that's how much the penalty or the review changed everything. But from the 1-yard line, we can just get aggressive and we can create a safety, making this a 3-2 ball game. How about that, Matt Stafford? Anyway, it's Clay Stites again passing later across the middle for Cameron Meredith. I really can't wait to get this offense going this year because I think that Clay Stites adds a nice element to this game, and if we have more time to throw in the pocket, I believe that spreading the field is going to be a very successful part for this team. And then also we have a power running game. I think our power running game got better, our spread running game got better, our passing game overall got better. So this in theory should be a very positive thing for the offense. Tariq Cohen got some work here in Game 3, and he did a phenomenal job on his touches. We end up getting the Cameron Meredith touchdown to eventually take the lead from Detroit. Lions football in the third quarter as they try to run outside, and there is Eddie Jackson to help fill in the running game. He's also become a really well-rounded safety alongside Adrian Amos. They try to go up the middle, and that's where the play gets stuffed by Marquise Starling, who led the team in tackles for loss this preseason. Stafford on 3rd and 6. It is complete to Marvin Jones as Curry Peters was out there in coverage. They go play action on this 3rd down with a nice catch across the middle by Marquise Lee. Detroit's receiver core is also pretty deep. Then Upshaw finally gets some space to run and goes right through the middle of the defense for a rushing touchdown. Here is us running a counter as Josh Sitton pulls around to help hit a block, and Lester Stallings did his job in the second level. Again with the football, we get Tariq Cohen up the middle, and another good pickup. I know we've spent a lot of time talking about the passing game, and for good reason, but I think that this team's identity overall might be best suited in the running game given how deep we are there and how well I think that our offensive line can do. So I feel like the backbone of our offense is going to be running the football, which we can do so outside or inside, and then throwing some deep balls. I expect our receivers to have higher yards per reception this year because I don't think dink and dunk is necessarily the right plan. I'm hoping that our offensive line doesn't limit us to have to do those kinds of things because I would like to stretch the field and to give our players some chances to make big plays because that's what they're best at, not just catching 7-yard routes. And if we can be a bit more 50-50 in terms of run versus pass, I think that's best for the team. Later in the fourth quarter, it's an 11-9 game. We're trying to keep it that way as Matthew Judon gets another sack, and we go back to our offense with Kaysen Shore through the hands of DJ Hackney. I thought Aaron Singletary was more consistent, plus we've seen Singletary make plays a year ago. Another chance for Detroit and another sack for Matthew Judon here with 3.5 minutes to go. Judon led us in sacks in the preseason. Trying to run down these last couple minutes, there's a quick throw to Kendall Demmons for about 15 yards. And then number 22 in the backfield, that's Sean Price, getting all the way outside and the first down to use up Detroit's final timeout. I still wanted to run a couple plays though. CJ Ross is going to get some space and move the chains yet again. And one more play, it's going to be Kaysen Shore rolling to his right and then launching this pass for Marquis Cole. Good throw and catch. And that's it for Game 3. Chicago wins. On to the final game against the Houston Texans as Deshaun Watson throws this too high for DeAndre Hopkins. And how about the rookie Shaquille Tull getting into the face of one of the best receivers in the game? We did not play Clay Stites or a lot of our key starters in this game, so Kaysen Shore got the chance to start and misses a throw he needs to make. So ultimately, Kaysen Shore didn't impress me really at all this preseason. And we turned things to Troy Kittner, one of our undrafted quarterbacks who's able to deliver to Kendall Demmons, not once downfield, but twice on this possession. Demmons showing his ability to get open and create the big plays this offense needs. 3rd and 18 next drive. This time it's Marquis Cole downfield. It seems that every time we throw his way, something spectacular happens. So while he might not be a starter or get a ton of opportunities, I see him as a very valuable role player to the offense. To close out the first half, there's a nice job by Martinez Strahan, one of the undrafted pass rushers we had signed. On a 4th and 1 in the third quarter, it's Anton Fitzgerald getting the clear path to the end zone. Nice 45-yard touchdown run. This was a game for the backup running backs to try and secure either a roster spot or a practice squad spot. We have Darian Sims in the game, another undrafted quarterback, and he does a good job of creating time and finding Kendall Demons downfield. Sims later on this second down shows off his deep ball. Leaping is Demons, who breaks away, and he'll go the distance. The Bears' second touchdown of exactly 85 yards. Kendall Demons really shined this preseason as our leading receiver, and you'll see by how much once this is over, because that wasn't the end of it. Kendall Demons again downfield. I feel like with Clay Stites, Kendall Demons has a chance to be one of this team's breakout players. We get the touchdown to DJ Hackney, capping off an impressive drive for the offense. 2 more plays to go, and this one goes to Sean Price with that breakaway speed. He will go the distance as we score another long-distance touchdown against the Houston Texans. The final play I wanted to show was a humbling moment for Shaquille Tull. We saw his confidence getting in the face of DeAndre Hopkins. Well, you can't do that and then follow it up in the 4th quarter of preseason game 4, giving up a pass like that while getting stiff-armed. That's how the preseason ends. Overall, very impressed with Clay Stites and confident about his game going into the season. I was also impressed with undrafted rookie Sean Price. Kendall Demons was outstanding with 351 yards and over 200 in that 4th game alone. Marcus Calhoun led us in tackles, Starling in tackles for loss, Judon in sacks with 3. And here were the final roster decisions. We released Joseph Brookins, who was the 4th running back a year ago. We then released Earl Pierce while signing many of these players to the practice squad. We released D'Angelo Brown, Haynes Heyman. We signed Darian Sims to our practice squad, Anton Fitzgerald as well. We released some of our depth players, and ultimately our practice squad was made up of all players who were on the team in preseason. So this is your depth chart going into the year. I do have to make Singletary tight end 3 behind Williams and not Hackney, so that's the one change. And then defensively, we're going to start out with David Onyemata playing some defensive tackle because Dante Rooks is getting his chance to start. He has earned it, and it's time. Let's see if he shines now that he's not coming off the bench every game. Also, I still plan to have Marcus Calhoun be one of our nickel linebackers alongside Marquise Starling. And you might wonder, why have Jakeem Grant at returner instead of Demons? Well, I want to have Demons get a role on the offense, so I'd rather focus on that than risk injury on special teams. So we open the season, like I mentioned, against Tennessee, and we play the entire AFC South this season. Our middle of the year is really dominated by division matchups, and that's going to be the most key part of the schedule. And then down the stretch, we have Jaguars, Panthers, Cowboys, Saints, and we close against the Detroit Lions. So we're on to Season 4 here in the Chicago Bears franchise, and much of it is going to be riding on the play of rookie quarterback Clay Stites. Is he ready to take over and take this team to the next level? We will find out soon. Thank you all for watching today's episode, and if you are enjoying the Chicago Bears franchise, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for notifications when I post new content. Hit that bell, and you'll get notifications every time a new video is posted. Let me know what you think can happen here in Year 4 with the Chicago Bears, and I'll see you in Week 1 against the Titans. Have a great weekend.